Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back after the weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. Let's jump into it, see what we're dealing with today. Cosmic weather. Right here, we're at the 5th of August. 5th of August. Okay, we've got two symbols here, which means void, of course, moon. Void, of course, moon, and it is 11:58 a.m. when the moon will be going into that phase of being in Leo, which is the next sign. So we're going from Cancer to Leo, from a water sign, feelings and emotions, into ideas and creativity. Okay, from emotions to ideas. If you've had an emotional weekend, dealing with emotional people, that is why. Because Cancerian energy brings about all of that feelings that's out there and so on and so forth. The moon sign today is also at a square this evening with Saturn, which is discipline. So we're going to have to temper our fiery Leo nature and discipline. We have to be disciplined in the way that we use this, in the right useness. Remember, Leo the Lion, the tarot card would be the card of strength, righteousness, or right useness of energy. So we're having this issue of learning how to discipline ourselves in the way in which we work with energy. So just be aware of that. The moon phase at the moment is 2% full, just about at the new moon, which we will be at within the next 48 hours. We have the Mayan Oracle, wave spell of the dog, symbol or kin today of the wizard, guide today of the wind. So it's the wizard, the 5, overtone wizard guided by the wind. Phrase is I am power in order to enchant, commanding receptivity. I seal the output of timelessness with the overtone, tone of radiance. I am guided by the power of spirit. Over to spaceweather.com. Solar wind has picked up from where we last left it in the 300s. Now we're up to 502. In the midst of a storm, going between the 2 as high as a 5. Our coronal holes have smoothed over somewhat. M-class flare possibility has dropped down now to 5%, but geomagnetic storm activity, as we can see, has increased. So we might have some colors and things in the sky. Get your camera ready. That's what we're expecting there. For a little bit more insight on all of this, this is Suspicious Observers Report for today. Here we go.
Good morning, folks. Apart from the drawback of having to sign up at the White House website, this is as good as it gets. Any petition with 100,000 signatures must be addressed by the President of the United States. I have to believe the only reason this still has 80,000 to go is because people just don't know about it. Organic, please? Thank you. I'll sign that petition today. Kind of a downer to go along with this story is the new strain of drought-resistant rice. I thought Japan was against this stuff. I've also linked a terrific article on the Titus Bode relation of where you can find planets in a solar system. That's a long-time fascination of mine. Kicking straight to space weather with a geomagnetic disturbance sparked by impact from a coronal hole stream 36 hours ago. Since then, the speed has kept rising over 600 kilometers per second. Density holding steady, the disturbance continues. Pulling up the satellite environment plot, it's got the KP at the bottom, the smooth curves of geomagnetism and energetic particles showing major flux as they break their nice curves. Proton flux up top is quiet. This chart replaces the HARP data on the space weather page of the website. Don't forget the CME expected to impact us any moment now. We may have taken it already, and that's what caused the second storm spike, but I'm not seeing any density signatures, so we may still be waiting. Did you know that last solar minimum, the long, low one, we took the 4th largest flare we've ever seen? Now solar maximum can barely pop a C flare. There is only one sunspot with multiple significant umbras, and they need to do some mixing and growing before being able to flare. The umbra opening between blue fields is facing Earth today. You can see the equatorial portion contains a coronal hole. Quake watch score of 6 last night. The added geomagnetic shock, but the new moon is a day away, and although less significant than geocentric alignments, we heliocentrically have Mercury, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Sun, Venus, Saturn alignments all in the next 3 days. We'll hold a watch score at 6 for now. Took another 5.8 near yesterday's 5.8 slightly south of it. Also had an above average tremor on the Canadian coastline, tremors in the Gulf of Aden and Uganda, and a Chilean uptick follows the Easter Island rumbles of the past week with a volcano eruption in Russia. Top weather story, it's a twofer. Gil and Henriette on a path aimed at Hawaii, yet every expert's track seems to have it missing either just south or to the north. When I see these tracks, I think you need to pay attention. Here's the TRMM of Gil leading the way. If it seems like this news went backwards today, it kinda did. Everything about this community went backwards in the last 3 days, and there is no time for divisive discourse when scientists are giving us a reminder of why we are all here. You don't have to buy into their global warming talk or what they say is causing it, but the manner in which they model these things allows them to have a much better idea about what's coming than what's caused it. The Cascade cannot be far away. It is practically on our doorstep. And given the events of the last 3 days on YouTube, a major refocus is in order. No images here, just listen. There are a lot of changes on this planet. In addition to climate change discourse, there's a lot of evidence that humans are attempting to modify the weather. And we're talking about much more than just the disclosed cloud seeding. But just how much of this climate change is our fault? The magnetic pole shift began in the late 1800s, and the fading of Earth's magnetic shield has genesis in the 1600s. Neither of those points are disputed. This is Earth's protective interface with the energy from space, and it's weakening. It's not just more solar energy coming in, but that's more galactic cosmic rays affecting our planet, and I've never seen either of those factored by climate scientists. Our situation put a bit into perspective by what is happening around our solar system. For the details on the following, please see the Energy from Space videos and the next Ice Age. But the sun is literally shutting down magnetically. The irradiance has not changed much, but the sunspots and magnetic fields are disappearing just like it did at the Maunder minimum. How similar is it? Well, that minimum is named for the Maunder team of scientists who witnessed, quote, the Earth killing sunspots. Today, we can see 360 degrees of the sun and can tell that this quiet sun facing Earth has just faced Earth and done so for 2 years. We discuss it every day here at this channel. The backside of the sun and the limbs have produced numerous large flares and CMEs, including the only X flares of 2013, facing 90 degrees away from Earth. This is supposed to be solar maximum, yet every day we watch nothing doing on the Earth-facing disk. In a solar system full of cycles, this breach is significant, especially because the result of less solar magnetic fields means more coronal holes, more Alphen waves, and more direct energy transfer to the planets. Our planet has avoided other massive changes like the one we see on the Sun. For example, Venus' rotation has slowed by minutes and has seen tremendous surges in the wind speeds. Either of those changes on Earth would dwarf our current plight. Jupiter's prominent weather features are usually quite steady amidst an otherwise turbulent atmosphere. But recently, the entire planetary stripe disappeared, and Big Red's little partner, Red Jr., was born. Saturn has a regular superstorm every 30 years that lasts a few weeks, but its latest came a decade early and lasted 200 days. Its rotation slowed down was brushed off as scientist error. I doubt it. Imagine a hurricane the size of Australia that lasts for a month. Haven't had to report one of those on Earth. These planets are harsh by comparison to Earth, but these shifts from their normal activity are far beyond anything we're seeing on this planet. Now, how is the solar system changing so much, and we're all still here? I'm not sure what percentage is man-made, but I do know that the magnetosphere is not being factored the way it should. There's no way pollution is shutting down the solar magnetics and changing the other planets like this. Unfortunately, that's only half the story. It is my opinion that there is a plan to blame human pollution for a cascade to come in our climate circumstance. and that it will be the impetus to usher in Agenda 21. It only works if they make the public beg for it under the guise of their own safety and protection from themselves. It is my opinion that weather modification is the reason Earth has changed only a little, but that it's not your friend. They may be controlling this descent to be timed at their leisure. I'm concerned that they will irreparably harm the climate by messing with it, and if they're spraying aluminum oxides out of planes, there is truly poison in the sky. My thoughts on geoengineering were laid out months ago at the end of Energy from Space. It's my opinion we can do better in terms of exposing weather modification. So far, the efforts have focused on general awareness, and they've been very good so far. But now there are enough of us to dig deeper and discover who's funding, what's the oversight, who are the contractors involved. Now that's a job for this big community. I do indeed believe the landslide minimum on our doorstep could bring a mini ice age. Recently, it appears the experts began saying the same thing. This is all review for those who have spent time at this channel. For those who need to see where this info comes from, I present and cite all the facts in these referenced videos. Eyes open. No fear. Be safe, everyone.
Alright, a little more of an extended message than we usually hear from suspicious observers, but very important. There are things going on in the world we need to definitely be aware of. Now, there are changes going on, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The universe was created by an intelligent mind, an intelligent being. We call that God. Some people have issue with the word God because how the word itself has unfortunately been misused and so on. So a lot of people hear the word God and they get turned off. Well, you just got to understand that the word's been misused and not get turned off by it. You need to understand that the universe itself is an intelligent place to live, and that we living upon this planet are here, and that our sun is not just here to destroy us. Okay, there's an intelligent creature, creator out there that placed the sun. Now, either the sun is a random thing that's just going to go around until one day it just randomly hits us, or it's like a factory and it's a piece of equipment that moves around at a very specific time. We just don't understand the timing yet. And that's what I propose. I think there's a lot of things down here on Earth that you don't understand. I think there's a lot of things that need to be understood more about how space works and the shifts we're going through. Those are all the things to pay attention to because there are shifts taking place. It's been going on and will continue to happen. And so if you are aware of the spiritual aspect of what's taking place, it will help you to understand more of what's going on. So when you have questions about the cosmos, you understand it's part of a bigger picture. Man can try to do whatever man wants to try to do with the planet. Guess what? Man is not bigger or stronger or smarter than God. And so man can try, and man will screw some things up. But in the end, everything will be put back in place because God will set things straight. Totally believe that, and there we go. All right, so this week, what I want to get into, I want to try something different than usual. Bigfoot. Someone wrote me an email last week, and they mentioned Bigfoot in there, and I thought, you know, it's been a long, long time since I've done anything about Bigfoot. Let's have some fun this week. Let's explore, see what this is all about. So we're going to start things off with a piece called Unseen Tribes. And this is just a small clip from a documentary about Bigfoot. So let's check this out. See what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this for precautionary reasons. This is a very, very hot area. Number one. Number two, what has uncovered happens to be a very a family pod, ladies and gentlemen. A family pod in an area that is very remote, and it's the real McCoy, the real deal, okay? He was out walking his dog, taking pictures. Do not disclose the area. Do not disclose the state or city. Take the story from here.
Yes, I was out with my dog on properties. There was no location. And I was taking some pictures. And when I got home that night and went over the pictures, I noticed that there were two Bigfoot, Sasquatches, hiding behind the trees, watching me and my friend. So at first, I may have thought somebody playing a joke on me. The next day I went out there to explore our backyard, which is about 200 acres. So in the process of going out to explore what was out there in the bush hiding, I discovered some pods or nests where we were the previous day taking pictures. And this was odd because I've hiked out there. I was living in this place for 2 years, and I hiked there every week, and I've never noticed anything like that. And it was right in my backyard, and they looked like little nests. So that was odd. So I continued to explore around the area to look to see, maybe some kids are out there playing a joke or whatever. So I'm walking with my dog, and I have my camera with me at the time, my video camera. And as we come deeper into the forest, I notice a tree, a giant tree, start to shake. So I'm looking at it, and I begin to videotape. And as I videotape, the tree comes crashing down, not far from me.
Whoa. Whoa. That tree is
I just caught a tree falling down on video.
Oh, my God.
But when I got home later that night, I saw it clearly. There was some Sasquatches out there, and there was a reddish-brown Sasquatch crouched next to the tree that fell. And you can see clearly on the video, this Sasquatch, I don't know if it's female or male, they punched the tree and sent it crashing down. They got up and walked away. And I captured this on film. So that's what happened. And it made me a believer.
Thank you for your explanation. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, what he has, he didn't know what he had, he experienced it, and he filmed it in its entirety. And when he went home and scrutinized the film that he had taken, well, let me tell you, it was off the hook. You actually see the creature, whether he punched the tree or threw the tree down to try to hurt. Well, we don't know that as of yet. But it just totally blew me away, okay? And you actually see it. And you see the other two creatures on the other side. This is an ongoing investigation. We've verified the film. It has not been photoshopped. It is totally real.
Something broke these branches off. Mushroom down. That was cut, it looks like, with teeth.
Now that you know that you had this family pod up in that area,
The tree falling was the scariest part to me. And at that moment, I didn't see the Sasquatches. I thought, I almost lost my life by the tree falling off. So that was shocking. That scared me more than anything. But then, when I realized that the Sasquatch had knocked the tree down, I started putting two and two together, and I realized they wanted to hurt me, they could have. So that took away a lot of fear from me. So after I realized that they could have hurt me and they didn't, that aspect of fearing was gone.
Alright, pretty cool, huh? So there you go. That's our start for the week about Bigfoot. I'll be doing more all week long. If you have any videos, if you have any information, pictures, anything about Bigfoot, send them to me. firstcontactradio@yahoo.com is the best place. Or if you're at YouTube, send them at YouTube to the YouTube channel, or to the blog, firstcontactradio.com. Any one of those places, Bigfoot will be the topic for the week. All right, UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today's UFO News has 6 stories. Story number 1, UFO activity in the sky above Melbourne, Australia. Let's see, this is 3:29 was the amount of time on the video. And of course we've seen lots of things above Melbourne. Alright. That's very interesting. Okay, that one moves pretty quick there. They said they looked golden in color when they saw this in person. Alright, that's sighting number 1. Sighting number 2 comes from New Jersey. This was on August 3rd. We were sitting on the porch and we noticed a bright orange object flying. I never saw anything like the object before. It was spherical from the southwest to the northwest at variable speeds at times, ascending and descending. 4 objects were seen, total traveling in the same direction, approximately a minute or 2 apart, similar path. The object disappeared from our field of view. All of us were stunned and surprised as we had never observed anything like this. Alright, there's the New Jersey object right there. Most interesting indeed. We've seen this plenty of times. Next, we're going to go up to the sun. This took place yesterday on the 4th. Let's get a look again. Okay, it's not the first time we've seen objects up there. It says there are NASA SOHO images of the sun, and as you can see, there are strange shaped objects orbiting it. These UFOs often move at incredible speeds and in straight lines. Look at the photo above and notice the shape of the UFOs you see. They have sharp edges and look block-like. How long will NASA keep silent about aliens before NASA cracks wide open? Not long now. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Scott Waring. We'll see. Scott always got some good reports here, captures a lot of great information, so that's why I keep showing you his stuff. Alright, so there you go, the links available, so you can check that out further. Next we go to Bulgaria. This was UFO caught over at Haskovo, Bulgaria. This was on the 4th. Again, yesterday. There's our object in question. Glowing UFO moves across the sky when someone caught it on a cell phone video. It makes no sound, but its glow around it does change its color and intensity. Beautiful color. These glowing UFOs are being recorded all over the world. As a matter of fact, someone commented on YouTube below the video saying, I saw the same UFO tonight. It was like 21:45, turkey time. And it passed over Foka town of Izmir City. I'm sure it was the same with this, slow and bright. It passed over, I think he recorded like to 2300. Alright. Moving along. Next one comes to us from Leeds, UK, August 4th. Bright unidentified object descends above countryside in Leeds, UK. There we go. Nice big object. Appears to be emitting its own light while slowly dropping to the tree tops. Footage is short but interesting due to the daytime brightness. Recorder does not know what the object was and states It was small and far away, but it looked just like the video. I thought it was a hot air balloon for a moment because it was high enough and not moving. Came with my camera, it went lower. Alright? And one more, and this is another crop circle. This time it's by Stonehenge. New crop circle discovered in Amesbury, Wiltshire. This formation very close to Stonehenge. The last time I had heard, the farmer has yet to give permission for the public to view and inspect the crop circle, so you might want to check it out before going. Crop circle connect. Alright, there's our image. Pretty good image. Let's see what we have here. We've got, counting the middle circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles. 8 circles in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, or 6 of them, are enclosed within a square. Okay, and then we've got obviously the X going between the two of them, dividing them into 4 quadrants. Yep. So, very interesting indeed. It's another view of it. So, if you have any ideas what that might be, send me an email. Let me know what you think. That's it. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back. We've got a lot more news, so stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
Continuing on. Alright, so you heard the little bit of information that Suspicious Observer gave today about GMOs. Okay, so we hear good news, then we hear that other countries are still dealing with them. Well, here's some more news you need to hear about here. First long-term study released on pigs and cattle who eat GMO soy and corn. It offers frightening results. As UK officials tout GMO foods as safe compared to organic crops, results of a long-term peer-reviewed study conducted by a group of scientists led by Dr. Judy Carman of the Institute of Health and Environmental Research in Australia has been released, and it proves that GMOs are anything but safe. Livestock in the UK and around the world have been fed GMOs for over 2 decades. Since the USDA authorized the commercial sale of GMO soy and corn fed not only to animals but human beings in 1996. Much of the meat raised on these GMO crops are sent overseas to countries like the UK, elsewhere in Europe, and even to cattle-abundant nations like Australia. The most recent study proves that more sober examination of the long-term effects of GMO on our environment and health should be demanded of corporations like Monsanto, even as other evidence mounts that GMO crops are unhealthy, especially considering that nations trying to remove GMO for their food supply are still being devastated by its ill effects. A loophole in the European labeling laws insinuated on the EU Commission due to lobby pressures from the U.S. grain cartel, Bunge, ADM, Cargill have allowed huge exports of U.S.-made GMO food into Europe. Under the current laws, anything over 0.9% GMO is required to be labeled. In the particular study, pigs and cows fed on the rather common diet of GMO corn and soy have suffered digestive and reproductive disorders. This is particularly important since the human digestive tract is very similar to that of a pig. Carmen explains, as commercial piggery in the U.S., we took 168 just weaned pigs and fed them a typical diet for the piggery containing soy and corn for 22.7 weeks, that's over 5 months, until the pigs were slaughtered at their usual slaughter age. Half of the pigs were fed widely used varieties of GM soy and GM corn. For this period, the other half of the pigs were fed the equivalent of non-GM diet. That was the control group. The GM diet contained 3 GM genes and therefore 3 GM proteins. 1 protein made the plant resistant to herbicide, 2 proteins were insecticides. In short, the mixture of GMO food led to a toxic mix in the digestive tract of the animals, leading to a reduced ability for GMO-fed pigs to reproduce. The pigs were studied from conception until slaughter. Female pigs were found to have the following possible pathologies measured through careful analysis and post-mortem examination. And here, look at all these things. Edomondrial hypoplasia, cardomycinia, eromitis, eromatrosis, adenomyces, inflammation, thickening of the myometrium, large presence of polyps. Further, the uteri of the GMO pigs were fluid-filled compared with pigs that weren't fed a diet of GMOs. The uteri of the pigs who consumed GMOs were 25% larger. Inflammation in the stomach and small intestines, stomach fibers, stomach inflammation, thinning of the intestinal wall, increased in the hemorrhaging bowels, caused pigs to bleed to death from the bowels. Among these horrendous findings, scientists also noted that none of these type of results have been reported in the biochemistry tests reported by Monsanto or other companies in the GM industry. The derisatory politics behind the GMO subject are perpetuated throughout the UK minister's praise of genetically altered foods. He has even said in the face of these findings that GMO offers most wonderful opportunities to improve human health. Without scientific evidence, this provided by scientists who aren't funded by Monsanto GM corporations, the world has an opportunity to see how malevolent these institutions who develop and disseminate these altered, health-killing crops. So, Monsanto is evil. Monsanto, you're an evil company out there, and if you work for Monsanto, you really need to think about what you're doing. Or either that, or you know what, you should just start eating all of the crops that are there. Because if you work at Monsanto, I wonder if you eat all the foods that you put out. You should just eat all those poison foods yourself, because I don't want them. And there's a lot of people out there who don't want them. So pay attention, folks. If that's what it's doing to an animal, a pig, imagine what it's doing to you. They're feeding you. They think you're a pig. They think that you're an animal who should just be slaughtered. I don't know. Are you? I guess that's up to you to decide. All right, false flags. It says worldwide military exercise during a window of potential false flag period. Reason to bring this up is very simple. We all know what a false flag operation at this point in time is. It's when you do something and blame somebody else. It's called a false flag. It's happened a lot in this country. America is not a very bright country because we keep having false flags pulled on us by those inside the administrations. And the American people are fooled every single time. I don't know how to sugarcoat it anyway. Americans fooled every single time. And then years go by, and then it comes out that through declassified information that, oh yes, it was a false flag in order to get us into a situation. And people just think, oh well, and they don't even think twice about how they were fooled. One after another after another. Well, if you like to be fooled out there, then you just keep going ahead and being fooled. But if you are interested in paying attention, here's something else for you to look at. The following is just a quick list of military operations taking place within this window of time. With the embassies closing and the terror threat heightening, it is important to understand what is happening around the world in real time and the potential for false flag to happen. Please take a moment and read through these headlines and see where the current military exercises are taking place. Are we being fooled again? You tell me. Probably, because most people in this country are very foolable. All right, here we go. These are things that took place yesterday. Unleashing the Wolves, nuke drills. Many new Black Hawk helicopters arrive at Tulsa National Guard Base. Boston's custom-designed terror operation Urban Shield. Mocktown now exposed, set up the Army for domestic urban warfare training. We're going to talk about that in a moment. New Mexico Joint Military Forest Service simulated war zone concerns residents. Then we go down, ones that are coming up. U.S. conduct joint exercise in Egypt. Operation Anouk 2013 goes live later this week with the armed forces and a large contingent of Canadian Rangers acting out scenarios for preparedness training. Exercise tests for Fort Stewart, Hunter emergency preparedness. South Korea U.S. military drill to fuel tensions. U.S. spy planes monitoring, and on and on and on. Okay? Basically, we have a government that has been infiltrated by crooks, criminals, deceitful individuals. They work in areas of government, of politics. They work in areas of security. They work with the alphabet agencies. There are those who say they are your friends here in this country, but guess what? They are not. Because when the time comes, they run false flags upon you in order to fool you into some sort of a situation that you, if you were using your common sense, would not put yourself in. But because most people aren't using their common sense or taught to use their common sense or encouraged to use your common sense, most of you don't even realize when these things are going on. And so you just move along in step, being pushed off the cliff by those who in power really don't give a fuck about you. And I know I don't usually use that language, but oh well. It's just a crazy situation, folks. It's a crazy situation. Moving on. Here's this story I wanted to follow up on. Insider blows the whistle on DHS takeover plan. Shepard and Bayless. Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. Carter's Village is what the Army National Guard calls it. A mock American town, which even contains dummy citizens for domestic training purposes. Goes on to say that located on the grounds of Fort Chaffee Maneuver Training Center, this massive training compound is likely a dead ringer clue foreshadowing the grim path we are now traversing as a nation. No longer are we free. Big Brother lurks around every corner, further pushing the populace into submission. In fact, it's now widely accepted that cameras are everywhere, watching every facet of our lives, tracking us in real time. We also noticed a massive police state presence that has been ramping up. Free humans are not even allowed to photograph or film in public anymore in some cases. Whatever happened to the concept of photography or journalism? Avenues that are being blocked by globalists now on all levels. While likely all of this is forced conditioning procedure implemented on the populace by the powers that be, we as free-thinking individuals need to recognize the warning signs and dangers that are swiftly pulling us into an unstoppable downward spiral as a nation. Now, upon publication of the exclusive Intel Hub expose, the U.S. Army has some explaining to do regarding the massive training facility which sits adjacent to the city at Fourth South, alongside the Arkansas River. The facility is currently active and in use by the Department of Homeland Security, military, and domestic agencies. While the military may be able to explain this facility for overseas use, DHS and other domestic agencies cannot. Okay, there it is. Basically what they're doing is they are taking small towns and practicing going into them. Because again, these are traitors to the country. Okay? Jenna Napolitano, the sea cow, traitor to this country. I know that she's resigned or resigning. Good. Get her out. Matter of fact, leave the country. We don't need you, Janet. You're a disgrace to the human population, so just leave. We've got other problems in this country. We've got presidents who are not honest with us, and I'm talking about the guy in office now and the guy in office before and before that and before that and before that. It's been a situation, folks. You're being railroaded. You're being pushed into a position you don't want, and the media whores that are out there are continuing to push you into a racial battle. Those of you who are out there who are smart enough amongst your various races know not to get pushed into this. But there are those amongst you in the various races that still are caught up in this. You're fooled into this battle, even though that there's a part of you which has grown past this and know that the idea of racism is really stupid, and anyone who's still participating in these days is really behind the times. Even though that's still going on, you still get caught up because there's good people out there that get caught up in the nonsense every single day. They're pushing you into a war, my friends. They're pushing you into a civil war. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pay attention to what's going on? Or are you just going to get in a fight with your neighbor because that's where they want you to go? Got to really pay attention. This stuff is happening every day more and more. There are people who are waking up to this reality. And they're waking up surprised and shocked because it's not like suddenly they're opening their minds to look at this from that perspective. No, they're suddenly aware like a deer in headlights because something happened to them. The police knocked down their door. Military was at their place. They were accused of something. Something that they didn't believe would ever happen in this country happened to them, and it's happening every single day to Americans. Every single day. And when Americans don't pay attention, you know what? If you're not paying attention at this point in time, too bad. It's your own fault whatever happens to you. Okay? There's been enough stuff going on in the world. There's been enough warnings. Enough people are saying things. And it's about time that if you're going to be somebody who's not going to pay attention to what's going on, that we stop wasting our breath on you. Okay? There's too many good people that want to listen and want to hear what's going on. So let's focus on gathering together those. And those who don't want to listen and cause problems, let's just push them out of the circle. Let's let them go to do what they want to do, because I'm tired of trying to convince others. I'm trying to talk to people who got their heads so far up their ass that they don't know what's going on. I'm tired of that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm guessing you're tired of it too. So let's get with the game. Let's turn off all of the mainstream media whores who are pushing you into some sort of civil war with each other. Let's get away from that war mentality. Let's remember what's important. Each other, family, love, light. More important things than what they're pushing on this planet right now. So pay attention to those. Pay attention to those and just realize that we as the people on this planet outnumber the problem makers. We just don't have enough courage amongst us because there's too many chickens that are part of the majority. So the chickens either need to get out of the way or you need to stand up and be brave because there's more of us than there are of them. And when you get that, when you really get it, you're not going to be worried or afraid anymore because you'll know that the good will win. That's all we got to do. Stand up, folks. That's all you got to do. All right, here's a piece from In5D called Moving into a New Reality. Get ready for a touchy-feely summer as the cosmos shines the spotlight on a deeper sensory self. We have at this particular time the healing balm of compassion and strong water element to dissolve the past. Any remaining emotional attachment cords to the past hold us entangled in a dying 3D matrix. This summer is the perfect opportunity to cut all emotional cords and entanglement with residual grief, sadness, loss, and disappointment. Set yourself free. In order to keep up with this new operating system, we need to let go of the rules and the principles we learned as children. They no longer apply. We are moving into a new reality that functions completely different from the ones we are used to. Time does not exist in the new operating system. Our solar system has migrated into a galactic photon belt of gamma frequency where time collapsed into the eternal now. Humanity has reached a choice point. The transition from 3D to 5D will take place between 2013 and 2015. We can choose to do nothing and wait on the sidelines, or we can jump in now and pave the way for the souls behind us. We can be the trailblazers and the way showers or the rear guard. It all comes down to a simple choice. Are you going to be actively involved or passively waiting for the transition to complete? The longer you wait, the less you will have to work with. The old 3D operating system is collapsing and breaking apart, falling by the wayside. It has become unsustainable and will not support humanity going forward. Do you want to hang on to a sinking ship or take the leap into the 5D quantum field that operates in the unity consciousness? Each global shift leading up to 2015 will become more and more difficult to assimilate if you choose to do nothing and wait. Each global shift increases the planetary frequency and bumps up the higher level of consciousness. If you passively wait, the world around you will elevate way beyond your capacity to comprehend the new operating system. Your recovery time could be overwhelming and drastic. I started my transition to the 5D hologram in 2006, listening to spiritual guidance step by step as I discovered how the new 5D operating system works. Through trial and error, I adapted to different rhythms and principles that govern the 5D realm. This process requires balancing opposites and radically increasing our energy frequency. The 5D realm flows in a circle spiral, unlike the 3D system of straight lines, sequencing, and time. This is just one of the many adaptations we must shift into. The next global shift is coming in September, so take this summer to prepare yourself into the 5D realm. Spirit is calling you to take action now, to be the highest version of yourself with fearless integrity. Choose what is for your highest good and not for your ego desires. Take this time to strengthen your spiritual practice. Start your morning with meditation and conscious intentions. Focus only on the things that elevate you into the 5D quantum living. Invest in your future. You are worth living. Lovingly, Meg Benedice. This was from Birthing a New Earth Paradigm of NewEarthCentral.com. All right? Very good. And the angel message for today is: you're not alone with this. Just ask us, your angels, for help, guidance, and healing or comfort. We are here for you. Okay? So whatever situation in your life you're going through, know that you are not alone. The angels are here. You just got to ask them for their assistance. All right? Next up we have here, this is another message, Ascended Masters and the Pleiadians. I'm going to play part of this for you here. Let's just get to it. And again, I know I still get emails about people and those of you who are still questioning about the Galactic Federation. All I'm saying is the messages and the information that I'm playing and that you hear here is something that is very important and positive. There's a shift taking place. If you start hearing stuff here talking about how we need to follow our government and listen to that, then I would be more cautious and suspicious about this. But I don't hear that kind of stuff. So as long as I'm not hearing that, I'm going to listen for the deeper spiritual message that is there and trust that that's the important thing that I need to hear. We'll find out in due time what is real, what's up with the Galactic Federation. But at least we're becoming aware and listening to the messages and realizing, at least I hope you're realizing, that there's not a whole collective out there that intends bad will for this planet. And if you think there is, well, then I would suggest that you continue to look a little bit more at some of the UFO phenomenon. Look a little bit more at some of the spiritual texts and see if you can decipher a little bit more about what this is about. Because there is much more good out there than there is bad. The bad's down here on Earth. The bad's down here in our political offices, in the religious centers, and in the security offices and agencies and in the banks. That's the bad. That's the ones that want to hurt you. That's the ones who want you to stop anybody who wants to help you because they want the power. See, if extraterrestrials come down, there's a power struggle. They have better power, better technology than our governments, and our governments can't have that because our governments are way too egotistical. They need to have the power. Our military wants the power. Our cowardice military who can't get a president out of office. Our brave military. Yeah, you guys are real brave. I don't think there's a lot of bravery in some of the military brass. Maybe there is, but I think there's a lot of military brass that have sold out. Prove me wrong. Stand up. Let me find out that there's someone out there from the military that has the cojones to go in and do the right thing in this day and age. Right now, I'm just seeing a lot of, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. So I kind of feel like maybe the military, maybe those who are in charge really don't have any courage, or maybe they've sold us all out. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is listening to the earth and what's going on in the earth isn't getting anywhere. You got to listen to the spirit. Here we go.
The Ascended Masters and the Pleiadians. Ascension is being pioneered by each of you.
Channeled through SNAC, August 2nd, 2013.
With so much brimming love from the entirety of our collective, we are the Ascended Masters speaking with the dear Pleiadians once again. Specifically, we're speaking with the melded together energies of the soul who's come to be known as Sanjiska, who represents the Pleiadian Council, speaking with you all in this moment. We wish to express your constant evolution and the fact that you're growing toward the higher dimensions in every moment. This has been addressed in our previous joint communication with the Hathors, and we bring it up to help you understand that you're not growing away from the higher dimensions as some of you tend to feel you are. For those of you experiencing doubt or a perceived drifting away from your growing higher dimensional perception, we wish to calm your tension by letting you know that everything you experience currently is a necessary and ordained part of your process. If you feel yourselves to be drifting away from your higher dimensional perceptions, we ask you to feel and sit with the resulting drive that nudges you toward seeking or doing more.
Emerging from your comfort zone,
you're ready to embrace the higher dimensions and all that comes with a higher dimensional experience. It's simply that some of you have remained fearful underneath your surface of emerging out into the vast, infinite and blissful landscapes you can now attune to and enjoy. Some find it easier to remain in their comfort zones at times, but we ask you now to embrace the higher dimensions and your own growing perceptions, for as we and others have reiterated, they're certainly not going anywhere. If we could only communicate just how close you are with the higher dimensions, and just how much your perception of the realms of infinite blissful consciousness are growing in every moment, then you'd understand our request for you to feel at ease with yourselves in the face of a seeming departure from your growing perceptions. You're growing toward the higher dimensions rather than away from them. It's simply that many of you are experiencing facets of your earthly growing and learning that are necessary to be experienced before your ultimate ascension into the higher dimensions. You exist in a very unique situation indeed, and we encourage enjoying your earthly experience and understanding that what happens in your lives that you perceive to be of a bad or unsettling nature, is all meant to be learned from. Growth is the ultimate purpose of your earthly existence, as the growing and learning taking place in your minds and hearts has steered your individual and collective evolution for millennia. Your spiritual growth and the metaphysical perceptions you're able to unlock can be comparable to the physical growth and learning you experience on the earth. On earth you learn how to deal with your physical situation. What you learn as you go about your experience teaches you how to be of the world and survive, despite the nature to which your world has been controlled. You learn to exist on the earth as you grow from the various catalytic lessons you experience, and in a similar manner, the inner lessons you learn and the spiritual growth you achieve go hand in hand.
Unlimited perceptions.
When you learn about or gain insight into deeper aspects of yourselves, which can come about by learning difficult but ultimately necessary and helpful lessons, you subsequently reach another phase in your already deepening metaphysical perception. You're able to feel and unlock entire astral and ascended landscapes within if you wish, and your perceptions grow to be unlimited. When you experience a difficult lesson in your personal lives, recognize it as just that, a lesson. Recognize what about your experience is meant to be learned from, and be thankful to those purer aspects of your overall self that they're helping you in your evolution with such lessons. We know, even from our vantage point, that it's not easy. We can feel your pain and the sorrow that tends to accompany the most difficult or testing of lesson learning. Many of us have felt your pain ourselves, having existed on your earth and worked to uplift your collective while feeling many of the pains and experiencing many of the difficulties you have. Many of us have been there and have experienced what you have, and as such we can offer you the love and support of souls with earthly experience. There are plenty of souls in the higher dimensions who haven't had a taste of the earth or the extreme and intense energies passed around your collective consciousness, but seek nonetheless to offer themselves to your ascension and have worked with much of themselves from their various positions to help achieve it. We'll turn this temple over now to dear Sanjiska and the Pleiadian Council of Nine, as they expand upon what we've given and offer the same brimming love we offer in every moment.
Sanjiska.
Alright, so we're going to leave that one at there with the Ascended Masters, and it's available so you can check it out on your own. Alright, so it's about time for us to get into our meditation for today. Before we do, I want to show you this chart of chakras. It was brought to my attention that I've been reversing 2 of the chakras, and my apologies on that. I guess I just got in the flow of things, and the indigo is the color I usually go blue, violet, indigo. It's the opposite around. So I put this chart here so we can all check this out. You can see what's going on, and let's jump into our meditation. Well, here, while you're looking at this, let me so basically we just need to flip those 2 colors around, okay? So violet is here, indigo and violet, the crown chakra, okay? I'll get it right from this point on. Here we go. Take a deep breath and exhale, and another deep breath and exhale again. Alright, let's imagine all of our chakras are activated. Let's start at the bottom of the spine and work our way up. Imagine the color red, drawing the color red from the earth into the base chakra. And from there the energy raises up higher to the second chakra, which is colored orange, the sacral chakra. And from there up to the solar plexus, imagine the color yellow. And from the yellow chakra, the solar plexus, let the energy move up to the heart and imagine the color green. From there, allow the energy to move up to the throat chakra, imagine the color blue. From the throat, the energy moves up to the third eye. The color of the third eye is indigo. This is how you see through dimensions of space and time. And finally, to the crown chakra, violet. Violet light. Sometimes you refer to this as the violet flame. And then the light continues on into the cosmos, connecting up as bright white light. And there we are, filled with all this light, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. All this multicolor light flowing through our bodies. Flowing through our bodies. And then allow this light to overflow, spill over the edges. And allow this energy to flow out into the room and just fill your room with this light, with this energy pouring through you. Now I want you to imagine, as you're in this space, I want you to imagine that as you look at yourself, you've noticed that these different cords attach to you. And if you look at these cords, they all go out and they attach to others. And as we realize how we are attached sometimes to others in ways we don't need to be. And we realize some of those that are attached to us don't mean us well at all. It'd be best that they weren't around in our lives. So I want you to imagine that you're holding this flaming sword of Archangel Michael. And I want you to imagine cutting these cords that tie you or connect you to others. And as you cut the cords, notice the freedom that not only you feel, but the other feels as well being released. And release them with love. And just feel your energy as it is no longer siphoned off of by others. Feel your energy as it is wholly yours to feel. Now, let's just imagine love. And as we go into the world today, let's just imagine sending out love. Love to transfer every situation from something negative into something positive. So let's just imagine ourselves going into the world like Johnny Appleseed and throwing seeds of love out into the world. And let that be enough for today. So let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take a deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow with more information, more news and stuff. You have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here. On Takeover Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.